Hey, hey, hey,
I
hey,
don't
hey,
believe
hey.
the internet's taking off. I'm a business consultant. Don't go down that route. It's not going to last, right? It's not going to last.
How you doing? Doing good? Oh, yeah, I got it all figured out for you.
What?
So, last night and the first part of today, basically what I did is I did some research on your companies, what you guys look like online right now. Looked at the competition, what are they doing? The best part about this is it's like taking a test that you already know the answers to, because the answers are already out there. If you know where to look, there's no guesswork. There's no reinventing the wheel. We know it's working because it's working for other people right now. So I guess my first question is I don't want to go on this whole tangent on where I think things should go, because my level of experience is up here. I don't expect you guys to be an expert when it comes to marketing the internet. The main thing is I want to figure out, what do you guys want from it? And then try to explain it in a way that makes sense to you. Answer your question, make sure you guys are comfortable with it. It's all about being completely transparent. The best part about doing, this type of solution we're talking about with Google is that with this type of pay-per-click stuff, you guys are able to monitor, track, and see it whenever you want, 24/7. It's always available to you. If you guys don't understand how to review the report, call me. I'll go through it with you. We're not trying to hide anything from you. And as we talked about last night, you only pay for the traffic you get. So it's not kind of like Cairo 360, where you're going to spend X amount of dollars per month, but you may only get 10 clicks or 20 clicks because you're trying to compete against your competition, and then you're trying to build up long-term organic rankings. For a long-term approach, it's good, and it's good to have both. A long-term approach and solution, and a short-term, like what's going to benefit you right now. So good thing is with these types of ads, you can see them anytime you want. You can make changes to them anytime you want. Unfortunately, he's already pretty much done all the legwork for you guys. So we already have a system in place that works. And I can easily look at what other neuropathy guys are doing, see what is working for them, how well it's working for them, and then start implementing some of that stuff if you feel that that's a better solution. But no need to reinvent the wheel. He's already done it. So first off, what I'll do is I'm going to take a look at your practice. We'll start there. So let me get back to, I believe this is, so we'll take a look here real quick. Well, before I start getting into this, is there any concerns, any questions that maybe you guys have just right off the bat? Okay. If at any time I'm going through this, you guys have questions, don't hesitate to stop. Okay? Yeah. And I will. The thing is, though, is I only want to do it so big because eventually, like when we start going into, the searches, I lose that bar on the side where I can't really move up and down. So let's take a look. Yep. So we can see. Right here. Well, here's the thing. The way I've set this up is it looks as if I'm in Kingman. However, the way Google has it set up, and you guys talked about this before, I think, with you, where if you go to the Cairo 360 site, and the next thing you know, you go to other sites, these ads start following you around. So because we have a history of looking at his ads and so forth, even though it's pinged and set up as if I'm in Kingman, these ads are going to follow just because I have a history of being there. For the most part, I mean, they're probably not going to have, it's possible that they could have Dr. Joe's an ad like this coming up if they've been to a site, if they haven't experienced. See, what Google tries to do is if you use your phone or use your computer, you go to look up a local pizza joint, and you have a history of clicking on the same one every time. So it's naturally just going to put it in there because it starts, trying to be smart and bring you information that you like and that you have a history of going to and responding to. So let's take a look here. So obviously we see the main ones here coming up: medical news. There's Mayo Clinic, of course. You'll notice that this word neuropathy is bolded among these words here. It's a little bit bigger. That's because of this. So it works kind of like a library. Or, like I was saying, if we go back to, the 80s, before computers and internet was really big, accountants, doctors, lawyers, they got a call about a patient or a client from 2 years prior, and they need to pull a file on them or a piece of paper, one piece of information. They had a system set in place where a secretary, they have their filing cabinets in order. They know which one to go to. When they open it up, how far do they go back? Where to find the file. Then when they open it, they have the file itself and each piece and section of that file properly labeled so they can quickly recall and go right to that one piece quickly. Google's doing the same thing in a split second. So everything here is about labeling everything up. The better it's labeled and the more information there is out there, then the more you guys are going to get recommended because the more Google knows about you. Not only do they know about you, but then you also have credibility and you're an authority on the subject because you put out so much information on the topic. So they don't want to recommend just anybody to provide a solution when we're looking for something like this. They want to recommend who they feel is going to be the best person for the job, who's going to give the user the best experience. And that's just in Google's best interest because if they're recommending companies that are not good at providing solutions, that are inaccurate or invalid information, nobody's going to want to use Google. They're going to go somewhere else. So it only makes sense that for Google to be the dominant force in information and references for us, that they provide good, accurate information and what they feel is going to give us the best experience. Pretty simple. So
if you have a lot of stuff out there, that's positive.
it is, but it has to be labeled correctly. I see it time and time again where people have a gold mine of information out there, but it's not linked properly, so Google doesn't even know it belongs to them. It's like, being in college or high school and turning in a book report without your name on it. They don't know to give you the credit. So
that way, we're right, the one stuff is out there before the
organic, absolutely.
the other stuff is got if they're going to look at those first four outside the page, unless they give them a message that which ones are the page? The ones in the yellow?
The ones, right here, and then the ones on the side. Now,
So
here,
what you're saying is you think people are looking at the ones below the page first?
well, there's two sides to it, okay? Majority of people are going to go here. However, the ones that go here are much more likely to act because they're going for the first thing that they see. It's like an impulse. Whoever they can make a connection with, that's where they're going to go. And this is why, when I talked to Dr. Joe, if I was older and I'm not good on a computer, I'm not really experienced, I'm not going to sit here and sift through page after page. I'm going to go for the first number that I can see because I can talk to somebody and say, I have to read all this. Nobody wants to read this stuff. They got dogs barking, UPS guys at the door trying to make dinner, kids or grandkids running around,
Why wouldn't that hold true for, let's say, younger people? I mean, what do they have in terms of technical ability to go through all those pages of neuropathy? Let's say they're looking for their grandfather or their mother.
Sure.
Why would they not go to that highlight or the one at the top and go for the lower one? What do they have that some people don't?
I wouldn't say that that's really the case either. Younger people, I think, do it too, because, quick, easy, time management, laziness, maybe a little bit of all of it. But that's why these searches become so important. That's the difference between somebody doing research on what neuropathy is and then somebody saying, I have pain due to this. How do I treat it? That's someone that's more detailed. They've done their research. They've got their information. Now, where do I have to go to get it treated? They're more inclined to act. And somebody that's in pain that's very detailed in their search, I mean, even if we look at it from, and this, relates to any kind of business, really. We talked about like roofing the other night. Somebody that does some research on roofing, they type in roofers. Are those people going to be more likely to go with one particular company as if they did a search for, let's say, black shingle roof, this and that, or people that specialize in this kind of roofing, metal roofing, this and that? People that are more descriptive and detailed in their search, they know more about what they're talking about, and so they're more likely to act on them. And that's just research and years and years and years of running analytics, reports, experimentation, experience, finding that out. That's the way it works.
So these things are up there right now with the actual searches from Cleveland?
Actually, this is for your area. This is Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, all these different areas. I'm sorry? Yeah, this is what's called an ad group. This is all related to pain. So I come back here, you've got symptoms, feet, cause, foot, cure, leg, medication, alcohol. So as we can see, there's a lot of search activity. 1600, 2400, 850, 480.
Can you click it and sort it so that it just does it by the number in the column or anything like that? Or why are they sorted the way they are there?
Honestly, that's just, Google is just going to put different ad groups here. Why they would put one at the top, I have no idea. From what I can see, it looks at how many different ad groups or different keywords they have for each group. The more they have, the higher it's at the top. So they have, let's say 35 different searches or key phrases for feet, 32 for cause, 19 for foot, and so forth.
This is with the root being up.
Right. And that's just for your area. It's a little bit different, obviously, if we go to Kingman. I did Bullhead City, Lake Havasu, and Kingman.
You got nothing.
Yeah. Less competition.
So 180 searches on
Yeah. There are a variety of these. Month.
And can you buy that whole keyword list there? Or is it going by the second? Add to plan. There you go. Good. You get all those 50 cents quick. You can have 40. What?
No, it's a suggested bid for the one that was for one of them. One of those was related to this. When I click on it and I actually go into the ad group, it breaks down each keyword, the estimated or suggested bid, cost per click. Some of these, they don't even have a suggested bid because nobody's bidding on them. Because again, that's just the amount of competition you have. Yeah. Yeah.
So, suggested bid, so that's what you're bidding.
It's a suggested bid. The way it works is if there's 5 people bidding for that keyword, and let's say the top person, let's say they bid for $1.64 for that click. You're bidding against your competition. You're not, it's not Google just making prices whatever they want for me or anybody. You are bidding against your competitors. So these are other doctors, other people that are familiar with, they have practices. Well, that's going to get you the best position. Right. But the other thing that happens too is, let's say again they bid $1.64. Let's say you wanted to play it safe. You want to make sure you get that spot. Let's say you bid $2, and the next highest person did $1.64. Then your bid's going to be $1.65. It's only going to go up and up.
Is this anything though like the winning poker against the sheep? In one sense, is they, what I understood, Google would like to also make money so that they readjust these. We're not really really by bids. There's some bidding, and then they do a logarithm and say that would be a non-bid. But you can still put, if I put 74 cents for outfit there, I could do that.
Possibly. Yeah, I mean, again, it's a matter of, again, doing the marketing analysis to know how many people you're competing against.
Let's say you bid 74 cents. How soon do you know whether you would get that? Or you would get 74, you're saying it might be lower than the up.
Well, yeah, possibly. But the thing is you're going to know if someone else is bidding against you and what they're bidding. So you have the opportunity. That may not want that. Well, but here's. Well, it goes off of a rotation. So these people are bidding, right? Let's say these guys bid, let's say 75 cents, 74 cents, and 73. These guys over here, let's say, are at 72 or 70. The time that they did the bid, they were at a certain price. Later on, after he could then sleep in, whatever, somebody went in and put another bid in, and that's going to bump them over to the side, and that's going to put them up. Does that go on a 24-hour stock basis for the bidding process? No.
Wow. You got to continue to stay on top of it. You want to stay on top of it, say, you snooze, you lose.
Yeah, but, I mean, there's really nothing wrong with getting moved over to the side or going down. You just generally are going to bid, daily. You get weekly management. You follow up with it. The main thing is, keeping track of the conversions, the amount of impressions. So you have impressions, which is like, if let's say 1,000 people did a search, you can see how many people saw the ad. And then out of those people, how many clicked on it. And then you can even track it down to zip code, time of day that they're in. You can start to target.
So what do you think the most important statistics are to manage to see your outcomes? Obviously when you walk in the door, you find a source because you don't know if someone clicks on it doesn't have a name. Does Google somehow send you a name or email? No. So you just know there's a click. So if someone calls up and says, how did you find it? They ask to refer you from what they say, well, I found it on the internet.
Well, here's the thing. This is something I started working with Dr. Joe on implementing because, like I said, if I'm older or if I'm really in pain and I'm looking for a solution, I'm going to go for the first number I see. I don't see a phone number listed here anywhere. So we start putting phone numbers in the ad copy because that way they can just call rather than actually having to click on the ad, and then you can save yourself.
So if they put the phone number in the line should be there. So the phone number.
And you wonder why they call me Josh.
So the phone number could be there in the ad under the name, let's say under versus doctor, there's neuropathy, there's a phone number right there.
Right.
Well, last week yesterday afternoon there was 3 phone numbers and 1 phone number on the desk. Right there.
I couldn't tell you. I haven't logged into those accounts to take a look at it yet. Well, from my understanding, though, we've been doing a lot of split testing. So sometimes you'll run one ad, and then you'll run a separate one to see which one converts better. You play them against each other.
And you actually have a phone number where it says Dr. Joe.
It would be like right next to the title. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, no, again, the reason that it's the benefit, because if you can get a call without them actually having to click on it.
It's better, more likely that they're going to call even if it's in the door rather than
there hasn't really been any studies on that, I would say. I mean, Google has a set system also. See, here's the thing. With this ad copy right here, you only have so much room. So you don't want to feel the difference of one treatment and then put the phone number there. So, yeah, the number is generally shown right here on the side. And I'll look for some ads that I can show you guys before it's done. But yeah, Google has no problem with having the phone number, in the ad. They know that they're going to get the clicks anyways. And that's the thing is, obviously Google's out to make money, but everybody, this is something that, no. See, here's the thing. Google has, this is one of the only things that Google sells. So Google's not going to put their name on it. It is not legitimate and it's not working. And otherwise people aren't going to do it. The other thing is, let's say I'm a competitor of yours and I just start clicking on your ad over. It's not going to happen. They have a term referred to as malicious clicking. So it from this IP address, yes. Yep. Right? Google doesn't want to be held accountable for people being ripped off, so to speak. They won't charge you, or if you catch it after you get charged, they will refund it. So, you take a look here as far as, again, your practice scale, I did some research on. So, what this does is go over different data providers and directories that give information to Google. Let me see here. So this is part of the display network. This is really similar to your ads popping up, on the side, or you go to a site and then it follows you. Here's video marketing. This is what we're talking about before.
This is what people see in Kenya when
Yes, a lot of these are national though, and that's the whole thing about this is Google wants everything to be more local.
So theoretically, I'm the only one in Kenya. With my phone number biology, then I'm going to pop up in the organic. These are the first one.
If you're the only one there, theoretically, yeah. The other thing that we're competing against is these companies right here, Mayo Clinic, they have a lot of credibility. They're huge. They have a lot of authority. So Google's going to consider their information trustworthy. If they're looking for, let's say, a doctor that treats or neuropathy treatment, and they're looking locally, then we'll start getting directories that are unique to your area. Yellow Pages. Right, so Indeed, Yellow Pages. Well, so this is the stuff I'm going to start getting into and explaining why. So remember how I showed you that client, that person I work with who was the home builder? It's because of this right here. So what this does is basically it takes your online visibility right now with different data providers like Yellow Pages, which we just saw back here, Dexnose, Yellow Pages, places like these. And then it condenses it between 1 to 100% score. 100 being the highest you can get, you're at 45%. But you see, this isn't just for neuropathy. This is for your entire practice. It's chiropractic everything. So the idea is obviously you want to be upwards, 80, 90%. We take a look here. We don't really see any reviews. These aren't set up yet. These are unclaimed, meaning that they're not verified yet. You have duplicate listings here. So one has your website address, one doesn't. One has your name. This one has the company name. And what happens is Google's kind of like a person. You know, if it's asking, we're asking Google, you know, where can I get treatment for chiropractic and this and that? And Google starts asking, you know, verifying its own records and starts asking these people or these companies these questions, and they come back with different answers. Then Google starts to question what they should believe, what's correct and accurate, what, again, is going to help the customer or the user. So, you know, the idea here is that we want all of these companies telling the same story. Well, you have to go out to every one of these directories, claim them, verify them, consolidate these two because you don't want a duplicate listing, and make sure that everything reports exactly the same. So, as we can see, every one of these exclamation points, this name's different on this listing, this listing, this listing, and so forth. Then, of course, there's other ones. They're just not returning results. You could have accounts for these right now. This is powered by Google too, so this is Google telling us this. Now there's a lot of other directories that aren't even on here that are huge. Dex isn't on here, White Pages isn't on here, MapQuest isn't on here. So, I mean, all in all, in total, there's probably like 150 directories. So, the more consistent these are, the better. As far as the information that they report, and the more places that you're listed is better too. So this is kind of like, if we take all this information right here online, this listing is kind of like this information, I should say, is kind of like a business card. If you go back to bare basics and you have somebody going out passing out flyers and business cards, would you want them going around at one person, one at a time, handing one out, or would you want them to go to popular places like malls or this or that, and then handing out a ton on one spot? So all of these are popular places. They're not Google, but they talk to Google. And so Google monitors this. If we went and we did a mass submission to all these different places, it's very likely that where mistakes are going to be made. You know, this might say Moon Chiropractic Center. This one might say Moon Chiropractic Center PLLC. One might be all caps by accident or whatever. There's a lot of room for human error if you do a mass submission. The idea is that you want to do, you know, a small amount each month, every month. You know, fix what we have to right now, and then gradually build up. Google looks at that, and if you just do a ton of activity all in one shot and then you don't touch it, it starts to look kind of fly-by-night-ish. And even though I know you guys have had your practice for so many years, you built up reputation, you know, relationships. However, none of that is really documented, so the internet doesn't know any better. It doesn't know that that information is there because we haven't told them, and then we haven't labeled it. So it actually comes back to benefit. So the idea is, obviously, you can only be in so many places at once. However, Google is always available for everybody. And when they go online and they go to research companies and they go look at information, we want to make sure that we're prepared for everything and anything. Whether they, you know, use Super Pages, whether they, you know, are using a mobile device and they're using Nokia, whether they use Yahoo or Bing or whatever, all these places are popular in their own right. So the idea is we want you to be listed in every one of those, and every one of them have a record of you. The better that's done, then the more credibility you have online, and the more people are going to refer to you, you know, organically. So we go over to you over in Arlington. It's taking a minute.
Oh,
So 38%. So what this does is this takes a look. A moment ago, we did a search for neuropathy treatment, Kingman, Arizona. We found these companies, Dexnose, Yellow Pages, Indeed. These places are data providers that give information to Google that Google recommends to us. So while they're not Google, they talk to Google. So what this does is this takes a look at how many of those directories, like these, have heard of them. Do they have a record of them? This right here said it's unclaimed, so it's not verified. So that means that this information, Google does not know 100% for sure that it's true and accurate information. And that makes them questionable on how comfortable they are to recommend this information. So again, if we look at Google like a person, and we're going to Google and I'm saying, hey, look, this is what I'm looking for, neuropathy treatment in Kingman, Google starts going to all these companies, what do you know about neuropathy treatment in Arlington? And then these guys are saying, well, I have them here at this address, I have them here at this address, I have them here at this address, there's no website. Then basically it's like me asking you a question and you give me one answer, and then I ask you a question, you give me a totally different answer. Now I don't know what to do. So the idea is that we want everybody to tell the same story across the board. Right. So we've got this address here too. They all have a wrong one. So it's kind of interesting because there was a study that was done, and last year, $5 billion was lost to small businesses all across the country because of inaccurate information. Wrong phone numbers. So what happens here, see we have this number, and then we have this number. We have two different numbers. So it's good that the majority of them have them. However, when people see two different phone numbers, they're not sure which one's right, and they don't want to take the time calling, getting a wrong number, and going somewhere else. I'm sorry?
I don't do anything for it anymore. I used to when I was in middle school.
I can explain why. Right. That's what I mean. So we take a look. There's no reviews. Yeah, but there's a way about handling it that I could get it removed, possibly.
Well, I had one time from someone who
It could be, but reputation management is pretty, I'll just say it has a clouded reputation itself. Right here.
It's bad because, yeah, somebody can do that. And we just say, but they have some kind of they are allowed to do that. We member. You know, I have to sign up and register to review. Right. So is that the same with Google? Anybody just spew out review?
No, you have to have a Gmail account.
Exactly. The one place that I saw a bad review maybe 7 years ago, it was a place where I had to answer it. And I said, you know, they really good. Well, yeah, so the way to build it, they see this user is consistently with bad reviews. Like, out of whack. They don't not just anybody.
Well, you see, here's the thing, though. If you bury your head in the sand and you pretend it doesn't exist, it doesn't mean it's not happening. The best thing you can do is be proactive. I have a lot of experience in helping people generate good feedback, good positive reviews, without violating Google's terms of service.
How long would it take for you to turn a 30
It can happen pretty shortly, but again, it goes back to fixing what we have to right now and then building it over time. Because again, if you do a whole bunch at once and then you stop, to Google that looks kind of like fly-by-night-ish, and you start to lose credibility. The bleak kind of comes off the radar because there's no more activity, and then you start coming down. So, you know, it's kind of like being in school and you got the kid up front and the teacher's asking a question. He's going, me, 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 me. I know the answer, versus the guy who's out back twiddling his thumbs, who do things to be more confident and who can give a correct answer. It's always going to be the one up front. Now, Google, of course, is going to send business to the company that's willing to do that because they're demonstrating a want and a need for it. And Google's going to reward that type of behavior versus someone that's just going to sit there and twiddle their thumbs. So the pay-per-click stuff comes in because, I mean, that's just getting you on page one quick. Getting on page one organically takes time, and then even then move up the rankings takes, you know, longer. Reviews come into a portion of it, but, you know, it's a long-term approach. And even then, there's maybe some areas that the amount of money that you're trying to spend to rank at the top organically may not be worth the amount of business that you're actually going to get from it versus pay-per-click, you only pay for the traffic that you get. So you could get better results off maybe $300 a month spend versus spending $700 a month just to be there. The idea is that you want to blend of both, and pay-per-click helps out a lot with that because generally, again, the people that click on him, though it may be less, they're more likely to act. They're going to stay at the site longer. There's a thing called a bounce rate. A bounce rate is like if you get 1,000 people that come to your site, and then in the first 10, 15 seconds, half of them leave. If half of them are leaving that quick, then Google thinks people don't like your site for a reason, and then it's not likely to recommend it.
But if you pay for it, you get on top. No matter what they did, you're up there.
Right. Part of that goes off of how relevant the information is on the link. Or, you know, let's say here, we look at these, all of these had the word neuropathy in it. So Google looks at the relevance. If I'm doing a search for neuropathy treatment, it wants to give me information that relates to what I'm trying to find. The better that the information on the page for this URL right here, the better that matches up with what the person's searching for, two things happen. One is your cost per click goes down, your quality score goes up, and then your conversion rate gets higher because you relate that well with what they're trying to find.
How they determine that is how much time they spend on your site.
Well,
the longer they spend on your site, the probably better the information is.
Yeah, for the organic side of it. For this, I'm not going to recommend doing pay-per-click to your websites because what's your site name? My Spine Works. It doesn't mention anything about neuropathy. Here you have one page that does cover a little bit about neuropathy, but it only mentions it 4 times. So as far as the relevance there, it doesn't really connect that well. And then the other thing is, too, is that when people come onto here, there's no call to action, meaning all there is a bunch of information. It's nothing that says, you know, I've been in practice for this amount of years. I've been treating for this amount of time. I have this many, testimonials, success stories, and patients. Give me a call. What we're doing here is we're giving them information to research. We're not telling them to call you and book an appointment. And so we're missing the boat there. The objective is wrong. What? Exactly. So that's the whole idea, is making sure that there's a call to action. Let's see if I can find this real quick. This is a landing page. Click for my help. My commitment to you, performance-based, satisfied customers, more customers, guaranteed results, no-term contracts, always month-to-month, competitive pricing, best support staff in the business. Call or click. Not too much research, not too much information, straight to the point, and that's what you want. So that's the purpose of this. So that's what I was talking to you guys about last night. The legwork's been done. He has landing pages, that convert. It relates to what they're searching for. It's got testimonials as a call to action, and it converts traffic and visitors from the customers.
And it can only get better with the back-end management, that expertise. We're doing it, but we're not doing it right. Even though I have a landing page, I have clicks, I have a system set up, it's going to get better. It's going to be all-encompassing. It's going to have a bigger impact. Or, the same amount of impressions without the click. You can do it right if you take somebody to figure this out. That's how we make it. So you get competition. Play dominant.
I mean, basically what this tells me right here is that these people don't have real professional management. Because if they did, the phone number would be in the ad copy. They would be doing everything they could to save money, maximize profits, and get good leads at a lower cost. See this one here, obviously.
This is very complicated for a person to do on their own. And I think most people get on the internet. They probably come around for a while and don't get very good response.
I'm sorry.
Professional management is always that.
The other thing is, too, is that when people are trying to manage their own stuff, not only are they not doing well on their clicks, a lot of times they're figuring out stuff through trial and error. I've seen people that try to manage their own campaigns accidentally send their ad nationwide. And you set yourself a daily spend. You can control your spend, you can control your budget, and they end up going through a month worth of spend in a day and a half. And it was people calling from all over the place that can't do anything. They can't do business for them because they're not local. So you can control the ads to only come up in certain cities, certain times of day, certain zip codes if you want to target that. You guys can actually go back to your patient list, try to find common zip codes that they're in, and target that if you notice a really compelling number of people all in a certain area. Or wealthy areas. Yeah, you can go off zip codes. I'm sorry? Yeah, but does it have a Sioux? Isn't it different?
I just want to say that right there is a Google number. It's one of my numbers. The one next to you, I'll call it, and then twice. My doctor called because there was a listener's call was recorded. It was picked up by my answer. Thanks for calling back to the news center. How may I help you? And so what kind of budget do you think, I mean, somebody starting off with this, I mean, what do you recommend? What's it take to really make anything at all happen?
Well, Google says you should get anywhere between 1 to 2%, at minimum 1% conversion. So it's going to be different depending on the area that you're in and the level of competition. So, you know, generally what I look at is out of how many calls do you guys get that, let's say you get 100 calls, how many of those convert into appointments? Of those appointments, how many convert into customers?
Already existing market.
Sure. Because that gives us something to go off of. I mean, if you guys, let's say you get 100 calls, let's say 70 of them turn into appointments, and you get X amount of those that turn into actual, you know, patient care. The idea is focusing on just getting 1 or 2 in the beginning, and then, you know, upping the ante as you go along. Not trying to swing for the fences all at one shot. Go at a rate that you're comfortable with, and take it one step at a time. You know, just focus on getting 1 customer. The question is if you guys get a customer, and I mean, how many calls would you say, or how many appointments would you say convert?
So if we just do the matrix, we got 100 calls, we get 50 appointments, we get 25 to check. So 50 minutes.
Right. Okay. But is that what's legitimately happening right now?
We want 4 calls, 2 appointments, 1.
Right. So, exactly. Right. So then the idea is, for that, let's say we need to get 100 clicks to do that. At bare minimum, worst case scenario. 100 times $2.79, which again, that's very, very high. This is just an ad group. But if we go with one of these, let's say it's 100 times, I don't know. Right. Let's say we found one that was pain. Right. 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 So if we look at pain, let's go here and take a look here real quick. So treatment, $2.43. There's only so many clicks available, but let's say you had to get 100 of those. Right. Now, that one patient, how much does that put in your pocket? And is that going to cover your marketing? There you go. So it's all on a cost per click, month-to-month performance basis. You control your spend, you control your budget, you can adjust ads. When you adjust ads, they happen instantly. You don't have to wait, and you can see them.
Set budget?
Yeah.
So you say, well,
Yes.
So if you're hitting that, it stops it right there.
Yeah.
But I guess you're obviously, why would you want it?
Right?
Maybe to your budget is like, wait a second, maybe credit. Well, I'm just saying, I'm just saying, he's just saying this time money. You say 250. No, it's like 250 bucks, and then you wait till the end of the week, you look at your report, and so you have 300, you get 150 impressions, 2 clicks, and no reason to sign up. Well, what I'm saying is that's the risk. If I'm potentially going to limit my clicks by saying I only want to spend 250, why would I want to do that? Because why wouldn't I say I'll spend 1,000 if I'm going to get that number of clicks? Well, if you hit limit and you want to start off with see how it runs. You got to run a test. Yeah, I mean, to see how you're converting.
See, here's the other thing is it allows for changes as it carries on. Let's say the conversion rate's not where you want it to be. Maybe there was a mistake that was made in your ad copy when it went online, and now you're getting X amount of clicks when it was a mistake. You know, you don't want to spend X amount of dollars before you figure that out. The other thing is we get you calls, but then it's up to you to convert. So then it gives you a chance to look back at your staff. How are they answering the calls? How are they booking the appointments? What kind of questions are they answering, or are they asking? How are they answering their questions? And, when they come in, where is any missed opportunities or errors when it comes to converting the patient into care?
Because what happens with a lot of doctors, they get an idea that, this is going to be great. This is going to be a home run. We'll take this budget, whatever the budget is, spend it all on that. And it doesn't work. Not necessarily only because of the function of the ads. I don't care if it's on internet or radio or television. It could be your staff, your office is not there. So starting off with a smaller budget, just to test the waters and also to test the system, is a great idea. Like you said about this type of how to do mom, you got to set up my thing to get it all set up for it. So all I know is I see $1,000 going out, bing, 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 and I want to see this policy, what's going on. It took a long time, and I had to lower my quick. I didn't modify it. But this is why we I didn't have a clue. Just money was going out. It was set up, but there was no mastery. It's just throwing money. It said, what do you want to do with that? I don't know. I didn't know how long it would take to spend it. I didn't have a clue.
So here's the thing, too, you want to keep in mind is even though, again, we're talking about the topic of neuropathy here, this is the exact same system that they use for everything, from car sales, roofing contractors, remodeling contractors, everybody, attorneys. So they need it a somewhat uniform in place so it's comfortable for everybody. Roofers answering the phone, who knows how they handle themselves when they get a call. But not all of them do that. Everybody's going to be different. A lot of the small businesses, it's like, the one guy's wearing 10 hats. He's HR, he's payroll, he's this, he's that.
Very important point. That's probably, the small practices. They don't have enough personnel to do that. So they send it out. That's the best way to do it because it's less. You have so much time and so much skill.
Yeah, the idea is you don't want to spread yourself too thin. Exactly. You want to have control over your practice, and it makes sense. You want your hand in everything, but when you do that, you can't go beyond your own grasp. And then, you're spending time doing a bunch of stuff that doesn't really pay the bills. It doesn't really, the whole idea here is you do what you do best. I do what I do best. I send you people. You take care of them. And then more of your time is focused on what makes you money as possible.
It's leveraging yourself, it's leveraging your time. And I want you to all turn and look over here. Look at that white haired gentleman sitting in the because this is what you can one day assume if you understand that you're learning to do a task that you don't have expertise at because you're going to be managing. You're going to manage it. Like you do that guy bending over. This is what you can't do tomorrow. I can't do that tomorrow. But I can have a vision and you can have guidance that can use that. That's what I see what is. That's having somebody facing that.
So here's the maps portion. Now, when I did this, I had to go from here, click on maps, and then, oh, there you are. But people aren't seeing this right now. Eventually they will, but this is literally all there is for this category in these areas. So, as we can see, this right here are reviews. This is stuff that all of your competition is doing right now.
I like to see that one. I wonder if I told me there was nothing to do.
This guy right here.
I like that review.
Don't come here.
Told me I had purple knowledge. There's nothing I can do. Take it so. Look at our practicals and sent to the email. In the pre-report.
There you go.
You got to see. And stay there. And well, sometimes it pushes me down.
Not on Google. Not on Google. Not on Yelp. Not on Yahoo. They do not remove them. The only one that can remove it is the customer themselves. But this is inevitable. It's going to happen. They're going to write reviews. This is why, again, I say it's important to be proactive, right up front, do what we can to get some positive ones first.
If that, then you can get in here and click on respond.
Sure. Not the best way to handle that. But here's the focus, though. If we can work on getting you 10 to 15 good reviews right off the bat because we're making an effort at it, and then more importantly, you guys are being found from people on the internet who are using it and they have the ability to write a review, the more reviews you're going to get. But we can get 10 to 15 first that are good. It's a lot easier to manage one poor review when you have 10 or 15 good ones in your first one right off the bat. It's a lot harder to overcome. And even then, if they are poor, they can be responded to in a way that other patients will appreciate the fact you took the time to respond to it, how you responded to it. You didn't blast them. You didn't do it. You were, hey, look, I want to make this right. I would appreciate you can call me or you can come in. We can talk. I'll do whatever I can to spare it away. I'm always looking for, I appreciate the feedback. I'm always looking for ways I can improve my practice. Just by doing that, even sucking up a little bit, people appreciate the fact that you took the time to address it, you responded to it in a professional way, you come off like you're caring, and that you're trying to be understanding of the situation so it doesn't happen again. Everyone makes mistakes, but people see that, they get that, and they would rather deal with someone like that than someone who doesn't acknowledge.
Is there a type of marketing on the internet that's geared for certain age groups? I think, in neuropathy, I see a lot of older people. Is there a specific way on the internet that, from research your own experience, that sort of appeal to older people? Is that a venue? I think almost everybody over 60, 65 got doing and is there any kind of technique, or is there any difference between people in different age categories and something like that?
I would say yes and no. I mean, younger people generally are going to be the ones that go to Yelp. The older people, first of all, we talked about the story about the ham last night, why they do, right? So 89%, it's ridiculously high, 89, 91% of every PC, Microsoft, when they launch and go on the internet, the first thing that comes up is Google. That's where they turn for their information. So it's not like there's anything out here that's saying, hey, for 55 and older, 65 and older, for younger. To them, again, they're initiating the contact. They're doing the research because they have the problem. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're old or if they're young or what. All people really want to know is that they're dealing with somebody that knows what they're talking about. They've taken care of other people. It works, and how, what they're going to do for them. Whoever, and this is probably the hardest part for business owners, is that you guys have a certain reputation off the web, with your patients, with people in your community. People know when they go to you, they're going to be taken care of, but they don't do a good job at accurately showing that online, so that your online reputation and image really mirrors your offline reputation, image, and experience. So the idea is that you want it to be seamless. When somebody looks at you online, they want to get the same feeling about you that they would if they were referred to you by a friend. And reviews help with that, tremendously. If we look at, and we can do this on, other types of business, because this is really the future of where you guys are going. I'm just going to pull up this Dallas one. Let's see here. So we see videos and so forth. There was one that was coming up here earlier. Let's see. So we see stuff like this. These yellow stars that stick out. Google has the same thing on their review system. And these stick out like, like a sore thumb, basically. They definitely get people's attention. Take a look here if I set this to you. So here's DFW neuropathy. So we can see this is not exactly the youngest gentleman in the world, but he's writing reviews.
That's one there, employees and
That's interesting. I was say because I could probably get that removed actually, but
I mean, I do. I know. They get a pretty strong.
No, in charge.
You can see they have a pretty strong food that. I've seen them. I've seen a lot of their patients. I'm saying that I heard of these guys because they put out press releases. What do they do? Are they injections?
So here we can see the phone number in the ad. This is where the phone number gets displayed. See, they have their address, different tabs. Their cost per click is a little bit higher because they don't have anything that really relates to neuropathy in the ad copy or in the domain. So they're spent a little bit more as opposed to neuropathy treatment group or these guys. See Facebook, Yellow Pages, video. DFW neuropathy. Yeah.
That laser,
Thing is, people don't know that. At least when they look at this.
I didn't see him when he got that. It was on the story.
So you see MapQuest, Manta. Again, these are data providers. And this is how you get listed multiple times on the first page. No. I mean, it costs money to pay someone to go out and submit them, but it doesn't cost you anything to actually be on them. So, yeah. So the idea here is that you guys are... Well, that's just for Dallas. I mean, if I get into Arlington, it starts switching a bit. And, when I just do a search for neuropathy, right, we end up coming up with these national links here. So again, if we do a search for Arlington specifically, or I did a search for treatment, Then again, we end up coming up with these ones. So it's Health Quest PM. Again, yellow pages, directory. Health profs. I think it's, yeah. So, I mean, you guys are in practice to, treat patients. So it's stuff that you're going to have to do in order to get patients, in order to do what you guys are in business to do. It makes no sense to be in business to not get patients. This is, it's regardless of, me or any kind of marketing out there, any kind of marketing company, this is stuff that's working for people. They're doing it. This is how they're getting their patients, this is how they're making their money. And, it's already a proven fact that even in retail, 60% of every dollar spent for local businesses, retail, doctors, everything starts with an online search. Why go all the way down someplace hoping that they're going to have what you want when you can look them up online, you can find out there, you can call them, you get their information online before you go down there and waste a trip. You have to go somewhere else. It's always going to start here.
From your experience, I mean, let's say people are on TV ads, radio ads, newspaper ads, they always have a website on there. So people probably look at that even before they come in to get a feeling about what they're going to experience, whether or not they like it.
Exactly it.
So if you're not on the internet, you're running an ad on radio or television, you're not on the internet, you probably have less confidence.
Yeah.
Why aren't you on the internet?
Yeah. It tells people a little bit about who they're dealing with before they show up. The other thing that's cool is if there's people out there that are running TV and radio ads, most of them are on the net, but if there's people that are actually doing that, we can set up a Google ad campaign so when people actually go search for them by name, you come up on top. We've done that before. We've done this with Charm. So if there's a company,
Or have a website that comes to you.
Well, yeah, you can set it up where if, let's say, there's a company called, I don't know, let's say this company, Neuropathy Treatment Group. Let's say that their ad wasn't even here. Let's say that they're running an ad on TV or radio in their local area. Someone goes online to look them up. You can set up an ad with Google in this page section. So when they search for that company, your name comes up. Neuropathy Treatment Group, Dr. Joe.
Bam.
Yeah, do that with the phone book.
No. There's piggyback advertising. It can get real. It can get real fun. Yeah. So, like I told you guys, yesterday, I don't like walking anything not knowing what's going to happen beforehand. I always like having a game plan lined up. And when I look at this stuff, I mean, literally, again, it's like taking a test you already know the answers to because it's out there for plain view. You have to go to the map section to find you on this section. Again, they have this address, and that's for Arlington. Right? This is all the people across the area that are dealing in neuropathy. So there's 189 right here.
How did you end up there at B? What's the scoop of that? I wondered that.
Well, it's because of, when I set my search tools, you guys see me put in the zip code or Kingman or this or that to look like I'm there. So I'm in the same zip code, basically.
So, like, let's say my zip code, I'm okay, let's have a back. But that was an order of your B.
Well, the reason that you're B is because I'm searching for neuropathy and you're chiropractic. So there's nothing there that relates to neuropathy, not even your website name because it's my spine works. I'm sorry.
So, no, in my somebody is just searching for chiropractic. How does it know which one's going to be the A, B, C, all of
We'll take a look. Generally, it goes off of centric IP technology. So it's going to look at where they're at, and it's going to try to recommend the closest one. or it's going to go off closest, and then also what's their rating like? What's their credibility like? What do people have to say about them? You know, this is stuff that is going to, positively impact all aspects of your practice, not just the neuropathy side of it. I mean, when you market this, it's stuff that, the online visibility is going to help your chiropractic portion, it's going to help your neuropathy portion, it's going to help everything. So here you are right here. If I put in your zip code, yeah, I know. Let's see. A little bit higher. This is that duplicate listing there. So you moved up a little bit. And then you see this guy. This is where it's headed for neuropathy. Like this. There's easily, I want to say, over 100 different ranking factors that all come into place. The biggest thing that we're focused on right now is, the Google ads, the pay-per-click, because the research, the legwork has already been done for you. You only pay for the traffic that you get. We already have landing pages that are working, and we already have ad copies that are converting. And it happens. This other stuff, it's going to take time to do, and it's more of a long-term solution. This is going to give you guys more immediate benefit. However, at the same time, the importance, I'll say, though, is definitely setting up, these Google pages, Google, Yahoo being the three main ones. Adding photos, getting it verified, and doing a professional page and setting it up, right? Because this is starting to turn into social media. This Google Plus link. It's starting to turn into a giant version of Yelp, but it gets way more traffic. Yelp gets like 60, 70 million hits a month. Google gets 600 600 million something a day for local business. Spread across, of course, but it's a lot more popular, and it's the one place that people go to automatically. That's where their screen's set to. So as soon as they log online, that's right where they go. See, even this guy's doing pay-per-click. All these guys are doing pay-per-click. Because I was searching in that area. This is Arlington. They also have 20 locations. So I'll show you guys an example of what a Google page should look like when it's professionally done. Let's see here. So when you guys are listed on this page here, and you're listed with like a bunch of your competition usually, the idea is now how are we going to get them to click on you versus somebody else? And then that goes into how many times are you listed on that page, what do you have that sticks out, and then what do you have that's going to connect with the customer right off the bat, because really it's a matter of them being sold twice. One, they have to be sold on clicking on you. Then when they clicked on you, they have to be sold on your website. And when they call, they have to be sold on what they hear on the phone and what they get in person before it really converts. But it's a matter of all of these things being connected and in line together. So we take a look at Toyota dealer, Bastrop, Texas here. We see Lost Pines Toyota, and then we see AutoNation Toyota. These guys have 93 reviews, 3.5 out of 5 stars. This company has 10 reviews, 4.6. But then right here next to that, none of these other guys here have that. Yep. So immediately that's going to stand out to me. I wonder what kind of offer, I wonder what kind of deal they have. Whoops. We'll take a look here. I would say that that's part of it. I would say that their rating is good too. They have 4.6. It's the highest out of them. other than this company, Motorphilia, but Motorphilia doesn't really relate too well to what I'm searching for, being it's in Georgetown, and it doesn't really mention anything about Toyota. And then if we click on this offers link, we take a look at the top of this page here. We see I have a nice, looking photo up here, cover photo. You guys see this check mark right here. It's a verified local business. And the shield. And if we look at this one, we can see there's a big difference between that and that. Here we have the 685 likes or plus ones. Here we can follow. So if I decide to click on that and I'm logged in my Gmail account, just like Facebook, when you go to log in and you see the thread of everything everybody posted for the day, when these guys throw something out, it's going to show up in the thread. They've got their photos. They've got their offers with their expiration dates on them, like a coupon. And we don't have to feel, we don't have to make, really make it seem like we're, killing ourselves by just throwing away money and dropping value and just, giving them tons of deals right off the bat. The idea is you give them anything, 5 or 10% off for, retired military, fire, police department, whatever, senior citizens. It could be, call it whatever you want. But when people feel like they're getting a deal right off the bat, it's going to make them want to give you a call and come in more often. That's going to give you guys more opportunities to convert. And then we have somebody in their circles. We have the review. And then we see, here we go. Even a good review. Take time to respond to it. People love to see it. So this is like a look in the future. The same system's already set up right now for what you guys do.
A review, they put a testimonial, we can ask the patients if they go on the website and write a review of the experience, and they old testimonial, how they set up that. They won't watch it, I do.
Yeah, and then they're going to do it on your sign-in or whatever too. So
you can ask them to go on that home.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, really get you get it going.
Well, here's the thing. Again, you got to be careful in how you do it. And the other thing is you don't want to just tell them to go on your website. I mean, it's good that they write a review on your site, but that's not the same thing as writing a review on Google or Yahoo or Bing or Yellow Pages or any of the other places. Yeah, it's good to have them on there because when people find you at those places and then they go on your site and see you have reviews there too, that's good, but it's not the same as far as Google goes because if all the reviews are on your site, you could have put them there.
So you want to educate people because a lot of people just don't know where to do it. We don't know where Google One is. I mean, just start popping up. Well, I don't ever go. You guys told me that I did my first one, but I didn't.
See right here? Well, there's Google's terms of service, which is basically you can't pay someone off to write a good review for you. You can't give them a discount or send them out to dinner for writing a good review. It has to be done, rate or review us however you see fit. But if you rate or review us, then I'll do this, or I would appreciate if you rated or review us. It's one or the other. Now, there's tools that
Yeah, exactly.
So there has to be incentive there. And you don't want to give the incentive right off the bat. I have a formula system set in place to help you guys get reviews, get good ones, without violating terms of service. And really, people find you from all over the web. That's why it's important that you're found all over the web. Whether it's Yahoo, whether it's Bing, whether it's any of these other places, however they found you, that's where they're going to go back to write a review. So you don't need to tell them that they need to go to one place versus another place and make it real confusing. Hey, did you see my Google listing? Did you find me on Yahoo? Whatever. When they find that, they just click be the first write a review, or they click to review, and they'll write the review. If you need help, then you want to send them to a place to go, get their email, have your staff send over a link to this page right here, have them click on that, and then just go there and write it.
That's got to be absolutely necessary. You really need to do that, especially if you're older, they're not used to writing reviews. You know, younger people have a tendency to come correct. I'm wrong, but older people, I mean, they're just not aware of how to write a review.
I'm gonna
instructing them, both staying within the confines of the relationship.
I'm gonna slightly disagree with you on that one, just from what I've seen. Older people do write reviews. We just saw the one guy. The idea is you're not going to get everyone to write a review, regardless of age. But the numbers will happen. If it's going to help by sending them a link, then that's great. Do that. They're going to have a Gmail account anyways to write a review, or the Yahoo page, whatever. I would put them in a rotation. Ask them to usually use Google, usually use Yahoo, use Bing. What's your preference? And whatever it is, email them a link to your Yahoo page, your Google page, whatever, and then they just write the review.
I want to ask a question about if I have a smartphone that's not connected to the internet, and I go on my thing, I to the tablet, it's not connected to my internet, and I have them do it on the cabinet with their email. Then I go to check that videos and we do it in the house.
It's not connected to the internet.
It's not with 4G, so it will be.
Yeah, it is more difficult to track that. Yeah. The mobile stuff, it bounces around, so it's going to switch. But a little bit, slightly, because the thing that you're well, that doesn't really make a difference. But the thing that you're forgetting is that it comes off the nearest tower. You're going to be asking them to write a review in the same room every time. So yes, it can.
I can get my first 10. First 5.
5, I would go. Because 5's all you need for the yellow stars to show.
And I'm paying you. What am I paying you good money for? He disagrees with you. He agrees with you.
Isn't there a coffee shop across the street?
This Starbucks.
Go right over there.
So the first 5 is really all you need to get the 5-star rating or the yellow stars to show up in the search results.
Schmaz. Oh, ruthless and Schmaz.
And you got to have somebody else do it for you because it makes your life so much better and people get it really fun. All right.
I mean, honestly,
What is it?
I ain't gonna let him miss out on the fun, so I'll address that in a second. But the main thing is, it seems more complicated than what it is. It really isn't. You know, we just look at Google, Yahoo, and Bing like people. If I ask you something about neuropathy, you could talk all day and night about it. But if I asked you to work on my car or fix a drain problem or how to do it, you're not going to know what to do. But you see, the reason for that is, though, is because you're not too knowledgeable on the subject. But at the same time, if you know somebody that is knowledgeable, that's where you're going to refer me. And you're always going to refer me to the person that you feel is going to be the best person to solve my problem, that's going to give me the answer. That's all Google's doing. But they need information, just like you would have confidence in your wife or whoever. You have to have confidence to say, yes, that's where I'm going to send you. They have to have confidence in you to say, yes, I'm going to send patients.
You're talking about the others.
Yeah, but as far as the page itself that's going to be connected to the ad, it still has to relate to what they're trying to find. But yeah. So, can you, I mean, it's funny because I remember I looked back, what was it, like 1988 when cell phones came out and they looked like the ones we got in the military, you know, these giant bricks you use for a doorstop. Yeah. And then nowadays it's, you know, iPhones, clouds.
That's really.
Yeah.
10 gigabytes.
And then
God, what's a megabyte?
now, you know, the Samsung Note 3 has like 3 gigs of RAM in it, which is probably more than this computer. And it's slow device. Yeah. So this is the ranking factors. This is overall ranking factors as far as organic. So you can see right here, just your places page. That's this right here. That's responsible for almost 20% of your ranking. External locators.
This is for me.
This is for everybody on the web.
This is the breakdown for everybody.
Everybody. So,
And that, other than ranking, your rankings, like your how far up the list you are.
Yep.
Okay.
so external locators, 16%. That is the data providers. So that's what we looked at here. Okay. So it looks at this NAP consistency. What that stands for is name, address, phone number. Is the name, address, phone number the same all across the board?
So the more than one of the people is not a good thing.
Right. Citation volume. That's the volume of it. How many times you guys are cited? How many of you guys are mentioned in these different places? How many of them have heard of you? Here we have on-page signals, which is the on-page SEO of your website. That's another 18.9%, almost 19. So again, that goes back to how well does your site relate to neuropathy, to the types of services that you want to be found for. Links, linking domain authority, that's like YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. It's bigger than Yahoo, it's bigger than Bing, Google owns it at the same time. So when we talk about like the video information, you know, the videos that were coming up, this is where I mentioned before that there's like a wealth of information out there, but it's not linked properly where it's coming back and giving you guys credit in that way. So when you look at neuropathy, we see these. You'll notice he's got his own channel. He's got a lot of videos on here. Here is the name, address, phone number, consistency, and here's the link back to his website. So,
Is there a way for someone to take advantage of those YouTube videos that can have links on them or something? You can just add everybody to your channel and put it up. You don't have to make it. Add links. So in other words, you could connect with YouTube on your own website with different,
yeah, I mean, you put a YouTube video on your site. You create a YouTube channel. The other thing is,
you know, other people, you know, doctors and people from the state.
yeah, as long as you're in a partnership or an agreement with that.
Okay.
Obviously, we can't just plagiarize other people's stuff, but, you know, put our name on it. But, yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying put your name on it, but connect a link to it, even though it could be, not saying it's producing it, but let's say it supports and sustains your approach. Because you have a network. So we have,
Yes.
you have a network of doctors that do that.
yes. Because it shows more relevance, shows more credibility, shows that you know more about what you're talking about, and that's why Google's one on the right behind it.
I think so, because we have a lot of people. Yeah, we're going to be a spokesperson. We're going to be aware of that particular people have.
So, yeah, to answer your question. Yeah. So, I mean, this is a really, really highly ranked site. Google has what's referred to as PageRank. They have a page ranking system. And so, let's see, Google, whoops, let's spell here today. So, the way that this works, let's see how this one works. We can check out, so Google ranks these on a number system between 0 and 9. 9 is the highest you can get. I'm sorry, now I guess it's a 10, but Google owns YouTube. So yeah, that's the way they have it listed. From my experience, the highest you can get is a 9. 10, I think, is only for government and White House stuff. But YouTube, if you look at Yahoo, Yahoo's a 9. Credibility and authority. So what it does is it adds all this information up. So again, we talked about your place page, which again is the Google Plus page, the external locators, that's yellow pages, super pages, decks. On page is your website. Reviews is 10%. So all this right here, what we've covered, is about 90%. And then social signals, which is social media, mobile, and then personalized content on your site. So if, like what we talked about before, like Cairo 360 or Teleflora, if it's spread across the board, it's just one, same site for everything across the nation, every business that's in that Teleflora group, and there's nothing personalized or unique about the doctor or that business, their community, where they're located, then there's not too much relevance there. So personalizing everything to where you are, how long you've been doing it, what's unique about you, your practice, your methods, your reviews, various things that are all built around your company as personalized. That accounts for 8.3%. All this together, just like a car, you've got a bunch of moving pieces, you've got a bunch of pieces all together. When they work in sync, they work in harmony, it's going to run smooth. So if we take out, let's say, we'll take a look at SpineWorks, see how your ranking, or your page rank is. Sure. Oops.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.